Okay, cool. All right, so let's see what we've got. I have pulled the Tesla website up and was hoping for a live stream, but it doesn't look like they did that. So what I've seen so far is they've got thinner water-cooled cable. You've got 250 kilowatts available, and on your way to the supercharger, once you've put in the destination, your car will go ahead and it will pre-condition itself for that fast charging, which is pretty nifty. Let's try that out. Yep, there it is. Okay, so they just did a just like they did last time. They just did a blog post. So if you bear with me, I'll read through the official notification, and let's see if we can't play this video somehow. It is a silent video. All right, so let's just read this. So Tesla has more than 12,000 superchargers across North America, Europe, and Asia. And I want to see, let's see, we want to thank Tim for this. Anticipate similar coverage in Europe by the end of 2019. Recently passed 90% coverage in China. That's phenomenal. And in order to drive continued electric vehicle adoption to sustainable energy, charging needs to be faster. I agree. Faster charging would be nice. Yes, so they want to increase the throughput for the vehicles a day. That is necessary. Today they're unveiling version 3 of supercharging, the next step in the growth of the Tesla supercharger network. No more power sharing, so that was rumored, and it's true. A new 1 megawatt power cabinet with a similar design to their utility scale products. That is phenomenal, a megawatt. And let's see. Yeah, the no sharing is going to be phenomenal. I'm still going to point out the A's and B's because until I get there and see the cables thin, we won't know which stalls have the version 3 other than looking on the map and seeing, oh, this one's 250. Let's see. We know the Model 3 will do it. Let's see what else they say here. At this rate, a Model 3 long range operating at peak efficiency can recover 75 miles of charge in 5 minutes. That's a rate of up to 1,000 miles per hour. That's incredible. Combined with other improvements we're announcing today with version 3, supercharging will ultimately cut the amount of time that customers spend charging by an average of 50%. So my usual supercharging stop is about 30 minutes. That means 15 minutes in and out. That is amazing. Rami, it doesn't look like there's a live stream, and the few people who are allowed to go, I haven't seen any of them post that they were streaming anything yet. Maybe they're not allowed to, like an NDA or something, which is super weird because this post right here has everything we need. Let's see. V3 power electronics are designed to enable any owner to charge at full power their battery can take. Okay, so that's cool. So it's going to be limited by your car, not the machine. No power splitting. And with the significant technical improvements, we anticipate typical charging time to drop to around 15 minutes. Just like I said, that's awesome. All right, en route battery warm up. That will help because a lot of times we get to the stalls and the car is too cold to take full speed. The new infrastructure isn't the only way we're improving customers' charging experience. Beginning this week, we're rolling out a new feature called en route battery warm up. Whenever you navigate to a supercharger, your vehicle will intelligently heat the battery to ensure you arrive at the optimal temperature to charge, reducing the average charge time by 25%. So that's good news because it will work with the existing stations. Like they said, there's 12,000 of them. That's going to take some time to actually go through and redo them all, or all the ones that are going to get redone. So this combination of higher peak power, dedicated vehicle power allocation across supercharger sites, and on-route warm-up enables customers to charge in half the time, and Tesla serves more than twice the number of customers per hour. That's insane. Additionally, we're unlocking 145 kilowatt charge rates for our 12,000 plus version 2 superchargers in the coming weeks. So that would explain why so many of the supercharger sites that were like version 1 have been upgraded, even though they were
Wake up time 7:30.
Even though they were low use.
Bedtime. Wake up
Sorry.
time 7:30.
And let's see here. So they show the average time spent charging at 120 kilowatts, and then they decrease it 25% with the en route battery warm up, and they decrease it another 50%. No, 50% total with the en route warm up and the faster charging. So with Model 3 now shipping globally in volume and Model Y on the way, version 3 supercharging enables us to deliver the fastest production charging experience at an unprecedented rate compared to other EV manufacturers. Okay. Increase the number of vehicles that are able to charge in a day. The investment we're making in our network will significantly further every V3 station deployed. Okay. 01010 says it's good news. There are videos of folks driving fast and then regenerating hard to heat up their battery. And it's no longer needed. Yeah, I agree. So a couple times I've actually used the ludicrous preheating mode just to get the battery up to temperature to get rid of the lines, the dash lines that say that you can't regen so much. Let's see. Beginning today, we're opening the first public beta site in the Bay Area, which will incrementally be available to owners in Tesla's early access programs. We're launching. Oh, okay. So if you don't have the equipment, they won't even let you go there, which is smart until the software rolls out. For Model 3, our highest volume vehicle, and will continue to expand as we review access to.
All right. What should I remind you about?
Stop. Nobody asked Cortana.
Reminder canceled.
That's right. Right. Version 3 supercharging will roll out to the wider fleet in an over-the-air firmware update to all owners in Q2, as well as more version 3 superchargers to come online. Our first non-beta version 3 supercharger will break ground next month, with North American sites ramping in Q2 and Q3 before coming to Europe and Asia Pac in Q4. That is phenomenal. So what do you guys think? Yeah, early access members. Yeah, I agree. IMHO. Rumors and facts got intertwined, but it looks like they straightened it out. That's a good question, Evan. With the battery warm up, I know that when you put it in range mode, it actually changes the way that they do the battery warm up. In fact, I think it just turns it off. So I wonder if it will increase the energy usage of the vehicle. It's verification that 2170 cells can charge at 3.4C. Yeah, it looks like it because they didn't mention the Model S and X anywhere in there, but they did say obviously the maximum of what your vehicle can support. Oh, this thing's going so fast. I'm sorry, guys. Let me roll back. First off, I wanted to thank everybody for coming here and putting up with my technical issues. I will probably over the coming days do another practice stream with that software, but this webcam is working just fine for what I need. But I would like to do some of those more advanced features later. Let's see. They have a short YouTube, so let's go to the Tesla YouTube and see what they have to say for themselves. All right. How Model 3 is made. Let's just go to their videos. Oh, there we go. It's that same one from the press release. It's unmuted. Yeah, it appears there's no audio, but dang, 1,000 miles an hour on the Model 3 long range. That was actually over 250 kilowatts. 256 when they cut the video. That's incredible. All right, so we got the press release. I was just reading the press release 010, and the video. It was super short, but it was pretty neat. And let's see where are we now. Yeah, about the people speeding up and slowing down. And I want to thank you guys for putting that link in there for me. Let's see, 50% faster means 30 minutes. We reduced 20 minutes. Yeah, good point. But I wonder if they mistyped it, instead of 50% faster, they meant 50% time, which would be 15. All right, and it will show that. show that. A couple of you guys put the link in there. The rollout rate is sounding like it's going to be not as aggressive as it was for them upgrading the version 2 stations, but I have a feeling that we'll see it along key corridors where they have lines. So like a lot of the stations in California, and then of course on the highway where they have had backups in the past. I think that would be prime to start with. Yes, correct. Model 3 has no range mode, Patrick. But even the AP2, well, it's not quite a range mode on the AP2. It's different than it was on the original, or not AP2, but the MCU2. It's a little different than it was on the original vehicles. 250 per cabinet, 125 dedicated. From what I was reading, it's a megawatt per cabinet and 250 for each stall, which is pretty freaking cool. Future sharing to get 250 to one vehicle, but not a Model 3. Maybe, but I can only go by what they say, and then hopefully somebody will go there and prove it. I'm hoping that they're taking videos and we can watch them tomorrow when they post. Model S is coming online soon. Supposedly needs a software upgrade. Yeah, they also need to upgrade the speed of the Model S. He didn't specify which trim, so hopefully it's not just the P100D, but like all the cars that were capped at 155. And hopefully they don't forget the Model X on that, because that's what we drive. And if they don't, they're like you said, they're 010. They're going to have to refresh the vehicle soon. They're probably not going to do a facelift, but it might be time for a tech refresh again. I doubt that the 75D will support it, but they clearly said the maximum that your vehicle will support. So I have a feeling that it will probably get up above the either the 120 or whatever you've maximum seen so far. Lee Moon, I wanted to thank you for watching. Let's see. Shoot to arrive with only 10% charge. Yeah, exactly. That's what I do too. I try to come down as low as possible, right before it turns red. Yeah, SNX will get a bump, and version 2 will get a bump too. Yes, because if you use the route planner built into the GPS, you say I want to go here, and it's like, oh, you don't have enough charge to get there. We're gonna stop in my case, let's stop in Savannah before we go to Florida, or let's stop in. Actually, it would probably be Kingsland. I hate that station, mostly because whenever I go, it's closed. It being the Welcome Center, and so then we get to sit in the dark with all the police. So at least you feel safe, but it's like there's nothing to do there after that Welcome Center closes. Let's see, increase to 145. That is going to be really good. And that was something that I was noticing, that the 145 kilowatt is, when you do the math on the urban superchargers, they're currently capped at 72 and 72. If you add those up, it adds up to more than 135, which is what they had been claiming the systems could do. Can they drive at one motor and have the other motor regen to warm up the battery? That would do the trick. I think on the Model 3, what they'll do is they'll just make it less efficient, and on the Model S and Model X, they'll just run the heater. Yeah, I see that. I'll do that next time. Let me just try to get it out of the way as much as I can here. It doesn't do any good behind it, but I'm not popping too bad. We'll fix that. We'll fix that next time. Okay. How long will it take the Model 3 standard to charge? I don't think it'll take too long. This is still running the new batteries, and as we see, that they can take a lot more than the old batteries can do, or at least, I don't know if maybe they're sandbagging it. Maybe the newer Model S's and X's can do something. We'll see in the coming weeks. Going to be a live event hosted by Tesla. Yeah, I hate it when they do that. They like hype it up and prep it up, and they give us a time, and then nothing. So we got to figure it out for ourselves or read a blog post. Let's see. Yeah, it won't be too much of a difference for the standard versus the bigger batteries. It'd probably be about the same between the 85 versus the 60 or the 100 versus the 75, where you stay within the same battery architecture. And I don't think it'll affect the longevity of the battery. Tesla doesn't really want to be on the hook for all those warranty batteries, so I don't think that they're going to. I think what they consider to be maximum rate is the maximum safe rate, because when you see what the performance cars can throw down to the road, it's incredible. And yeah, Evan, that's going to be awesome for the megacharger, because if these if these regular superchargers are right at the megawatt level, the megacharger's got to be what? I can only imagine. I talked about unlocking all superchargers at version 2. That's correct. Tesla Raj on Twitter has a video up from the supercharger. All right, let's go to his stream and check that out. Good. Phantom Drain with Sentry mode. Here we go. It looks like it's him at the event. Let's see how much I can do without.
This is the new.
That cable is incredibly thin.
But anyway, it looks exactly like.
So what I'm thinking with the cables, we saw a V2 station with the liquid cooled cables for a couple of months, and then they went back and just ripped out the cables. And the speculation was that there was a flaw. I'm wondering if that just meant that they were done with their test. See, the Model 3 cables are only rated at 525 amps, and 80% of that is 420, so 150 kilowatt max. Very good point. And then I also am curious, then, IMHO, if they have changed the cables on the Model S and the Model X. The 2017 and a half-ish mark, so like late July, they made some major changes to the Model X. I wonder if the Model S also saw some at that point. Something with the voltage. They very well could be changing the voltage. Updating all of the V2 to V3. It looks like they will not. All right. Tesla live show. All right. And existing V2 cap will increase to 145. That's correct. All new stations. Yeah, I don't think they'll be installing any more version 2 stations. But I do see them skipping the upgrade for many of the stations that are like nearly always empty. Let's see. Don't stop at Savannah. Terrible station. Kingsland is much better though. Yeah, but in Savannah, like there's people to talk to. I can go there. Well, I can go to the restroom in Kingsland as well. But you're right. They're both equally bad, really. All I get is a nice walk and a little more traffic. I'll have to evaluate that again, and maybe have to stop arriving at Kingsland after the center closes. Yeah, Timmy. Thank you. Yeah, the gators in the pond. I never understood why that pond was so big. 40 miles north of Kingsland. Lee, all right, that would make that the default for you, at least coming back. V8 for the win. No, thank you, Timmy. I'll take my vehicle's quiet. They're going to charge more for those higher speeds. You know what? That's a very good point. I think that they might, because right now they charge for the higher speed that you charge at. They charge more, and if you get stuck at that lower speed during the ramp down, they charge less. Will they just migrate that over, or will there be a third tier for, hey, if you're charging above 100 kilowatts, you're getting this, and how much will that be? All right, so there's a chance that V3 won't be in your town if you already have existing V2, correct? So that would actually be good for Charleston. So when we finally get one, it'll be a V3. He said no plans to upgrade current V2 chargers. In their press release, they say otherwise. Just not all of them. Don't know if this is the official Tesla statement or just on the Tesla blog. But no way it charges at 3.4C for more than 1 minute, which shoots straight to V22. Wow, you're right. That might not be good. Unless I don't think they're just doing heating. I think they're also doing cooling. but they describe heating. 250 kilowatt rate would be 3.4 C, and then 750 amps at 340 volts. Yeah, that would be over the 80%, unless they're considering it not to be, since it's a short charge, maybe they're considering it to be where they can run at the rated voltage and amps, or maybe even a little bit over for a moment. Yep, there it is. And high wedge. Some places charge per kilowatt hour. That's correct. So in the places where they're not barred from charging for the actual power consumed, they will charge you per kilowatt hour. And the efficiency difference is supposed to save them money. You're right, because that will help them. There's less cars charging for as long, so their demand charges will go down. Unlocking 145 kilowatt rate. That's right. Yep. Tesla's always said they want to charge for the actual power used per kilowatt hour. In those states where they have to do tier charges prescribed by law. Correct. So in some states, only power companies, only full utilities are allowed to charge by the kilowatt hour. And I wonder if Tesla Energy, if they reach whatever levels are required, would count as the kind of utility that could do that, or if it's literally only the state municipalities that can do it. It's like we've given the monopoly to Virginia Power. They're the only ones, perhaps. The 12,000 plus superchargers is probably all of them. I agree. It's probably every site, or it might even be every stall. Wonder what the max is on a 2016 90. Has 010 has yours capped itself to the 90-ish kilowatt hours max rate yet, or not? And then on top of that, I wonder if this new software will uncap the 90s to allow them to charge at a faster rate than 90, because that was something that I was fearing on my 90, that I would get stuck at that, because we do a lot of traveling. The rate of charge does drop quite dramatically after 70% on version 2. I think version 3, you probably will see something like that, where it starts to slow down rather aggressively. But what I like to do is, when I have enough to reach the next station minus, or I'd reach the next station with about 10 or 15%, I just pull out and leave. So if the next station is also a Gen 3, I would probably keep that behavior up, because it would still reduce the amount of time spent charging overall. Yes, I have a P100DL as well, hoping for a massive bump. That's right, Red Doc. The Model Y reveal next week. They have to have a surprise up their sleeve. Any suggestions? Well, I think that they're going to announce the car, and they're going to take our money. Hey, take the reservations now. But I have a feeling that they may show us the production Roadster, or I like their new thing with the one more thing, where they like on the semi event, they started panning the camera up. They cranked the music, and they're like, wait a minute, they brought it back down, and then this red flash of light just comes out the back of the trailer. That was very well done. You now have a reason to upgrade and get AP 2 or 3. Absolutely. I think that they might also show us the robot snake charger at the Model Y, if they're even going to continue to do it. Because if the car can drive itself, if it can leave the spot, the perfect application would be for it to be able to at least unplug itself. Maybe it's spit the cable out, but I don't think that you'd want to spit out the new cables to the ground, because that would be bad. They can charge by the kilowatt hour prepaid package. Oh, that's pretty smart too. So you're paying for credits rather than the actual power. And when your credits run out, they're done. Clever. You've seen up to 115 kilowatts, so yours has not hit the cap. So I think that you'll also see faster charging. As you missed it earlier, but any word on what the state of charge is for the 250 rate? What it will drop, and how high it'll stay as it approaches 80. So let me go back to there. So they pulled in with 16 miles of range remaining. and it starts at 2:30 and works its way up to 2:56 before they cut the video off. And 75 miles in 5 minutes is what they are claiming. So that would actually be great for station hopping, because by the time you've gone to the bathroom and come back, it's already well into the green. The battery stadium effect. Tell us about it, Chris. Eco Chris. Give yourself 20% buffer, because usually you use 10% more than the nav says. Yeah, mine is always, I always find it's about 2 to 5% conservative. So it says, hey, you're going to arrive home with 5%. And I get home, it's at 10 or 12, depending on the weather. Yeah, I don't think Cologne, I don't think that they'd go much higher than probably about 50 or 60% at the very most at these new higher rates. I probably expect it to get down to normal rates right around the 50% mark. Model 3 people stood in line at the stores. They closed the stores. People cannot have a big Apple-like lines for the car reveals. I don't think they were expecting the amount of people that they got. When we got there, our store was prepped for 100 people. I was number 335 in line, and it took forever to go through. And there were still people behind us when I left. So I think it's actually probably a good thing that they don't have a place for us to go line up. And I'd like to see what kind of numbers they pull. I can't afford another car at the moment, but I would definitely consider it if that was in the cards. 145 kilowatt non-shared stalls on. I think that the version 2 superchargers will still be shared, but there, like you're saying, there are some that aren't shared. Like there's one up by K-Man Auto. His has 3 that were designed to be 6, and so they've got 120 each. So the non-shared superchargers be deployed in software only. If not, installing new hardware all stations take a long time. Yeah, it looks like it's just a software change. Like they just flash the new firmware whenever the station's in maintenance mode or empty for long enough. People who got unlimited free supercharging for life get charged for on the V3. I don't think that that's going to be a huge concern for them, because we'd still draw the same kilowatt hours into the pack, but we'll be using less of their demand charges. Yeah, the non-shared charges, I believe, is going to be version 3 only, as well as the single units. So, like at the Charlotte service center, they've got a Gen 2 that's just a cable. They don't have the pedestal, and it's full speed. But over in Athens, Georgia, they have 2 destination chargers, or not destination chargers. I always call them wrong. They have 2 of the urban superchargers. And I have a feeling that the urban superchargers may also see a bump. Well, no, they can't. They can't, because they're already at that 145 rate to get 72 non-shared. I wonder if they might add a split, and then if somebody shows up, just you go back. 2017 Model X. I think if your 2017 is after July 15th or so of that year, then you'll be fine. Sandeep. Hey, Agnes. 75 miles in 5 minutes. That is incredible. Notice your battery quickly filling up in the beginning and then slowing down noticeably when the charge is in the last several percentage. Yeah, I think they might even disallow full charges on the V3. I noticed that sometimes when the stations are starting to fill up, they will actually sever my charge, even though I'm trying to get to 90%. They're like 80%, you're done, and it just stops. Free for life, not free till we upgrade. Exactly. I want to see this with Tesla Spy. Yeah, I need to install Tesla Spy. I'm gonna need to sit down with one of you guys and go over what is a supported combo. I've got the app. I just need to buy the interface and then install it in my Model X. Easy for energy to flow in and out and take up empty space in the beginning. That's correct. And then once it's just like when filling up a bucket without spilling a drop. You got to slow down at the end. Cold weather and wind and hills affect the percentage you have left, but it's pretty accurate now. Correct. With this, the hydrogen fuel cell is dead. I agree. Fast charging is the only argument hydrogen had, and at $80 a fill for hydrogen, I don't think that will take off anytime soon, even if they could get enough. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Why is it called the stadium effect? Yeah, let's look that up. Yeah, I definitely want to install the, or not install, but get that streaming software configured correctly so that I can share my screen with you guys. Battery. Okay, so over on GM Volt, they explain it. Okay, so it's just explaining how the charge rate tapers. Go back to 120 kilowatts by 50%. Yeah. I think that they're going to have to install the power packs because I don't think they have any way to get that amount of power. Well, I mean, I guess they can install that much power, but I don't think it would make sense to if their problem is demand power, to just draw that much more from the grid. The buffer from the power packs would be the way to go. The smart way to go, I should say. Version 3 gets put in Atlanta. I think that they probably will, because as they get more Model 3s, that Atlantic station is going to get full faster and longer. I don't see them doing too much with the Lennox Mall locations. I like the one in the parking garage, the one by the valet. Ooh, it makes me so angry. Yeah, it never really was alive with the hydrogen. They've been promising hydrogen for the next 40 years, for the last 60 years. Been at many full Tesla chargers and never had them cut off on you before. I've had it cut off, and I've also had it where the trip planner in the navigation wants me to charge further, and so if I go out and then come back, and I've got the charge set to 80 or 90, I come back and it's at 95 or full, and then you look at the limit and it's still where you set it at. 240 from 0. 250 won't last. 240 wouldn't be possible without the hacked BMS. I don't know. I can't wait to see how it actually is applied. Fell asleep at a supercharger early this morning in Maryland, driving to home, and so you reached 100%. Yes. I got my first. I'm going to show you in a future video. I got my first idle fee because I was talking to a gentleman, and we were enjoying story time, and they got me. They're like, "Hey, this first one's free, but next time, move your butt." Let's see. Version 3 in Atlanta as one of the first 3 version spots. Yeah, that makes sense because it's still a large city. Usually charge just to 80 and move on. That's the best way on the current iteration of the V2 chargers, because they just slow down so much after about 78% or so. Whereas that V3 will be for power packs and photo voltaic. It would be nice of them to see them install solar panels. I don't know that they're going to be doing that. Yeah, Tesla Raj. Let's go back to him and see what he's saying. And thank you all for your patience with me on my first real live stream here. I know I could do better, but I guess you have to practice to get there, right? Let's see, he is doing what now?
All right, we're here at the Supercharger.
Oh, okay, so it's
this is the
5-minute stream.
It's kind of hard to see, but anyway, it looks
So is this some 40
exactly
hands?
Like V2, exactly the same, but you can tell the
Yeah, Jordan, it looks like all the new ones will be installed as V3.
This is maybe about one
thick cable there.
depth.
Send 700 amps through a 525 watt amp cable for more than a few minutes. We'll see some fires. Probably so, unless they change the voltage to compensate.
1.5. So so it's significantly thicker.
They do
And,
super chill
We're seeing
the
charge
car,
speeds
so I
of
see
up
them.
to
I see them
This is crazy.
probably also
1,000 miles per
prepping
hour.
the cables for you coming by too. It might even tell you, hey,
We're
park in
talking 75
stall
miles
2A when you get
in
there.
10 minutes. I mean, mind is blown right now. This is just nuts.
1,000 mile charge speed on the Model 3.
Experience, but this is going to be game changing.
No, you can't OTA water cooled cables into the car. So yeah, you're right. On the car side, there's nothing they can do. But on the supercharger side, that's pretty unique. Well, that's a good question. I don't think that they're going to see too much acceleration of the degradation. They might move it from 12 years to 8 years.
Now we're already at 65%, so we're going up.
This is going to kill the gas stations. I have a feeling it might actually, if they're smart, they've got a lot of the stations installed at
1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah, I see
Jesus, and the kilowatts.
Oh wow, it's doing 1,000 at 60%. That is phenomenal.
Kilowatts, 225 kilowatts, and 1,000 miles per hour at its peak. That's nuts. It's nuts. So I mean, how?
That's cool. So I have a feeling that the gas stations they've got partnerships set up so far at some of the hosts are Wawa gas stations, some are Sheetz, and the beauty of those two brands is they have hot food ready for you to go. Sheetz doesn't have any straight up vegetarian options. You can just not put meat on it, but Wawa does have vegetarian options, which is cool. Or you can just use the convenience store side. They've got bathrooms. They're open 24 hours a day, so us late night road warriors can feel safe and find a place to go all hours of the night. Valet station is a terrible location. Yeah. I don't know what's up with all those fences, and it was insane. Go to the one Lennox Mall garage instead. Yeah, I love the garage. It's way better. I gave the one in the garage, I gave it a 7, and the one by the valet, I gave it a 2 or a 3. It was a mess. 10 minutes at a station today and hated every second of it. Which station was that, Automated Future? They slow down because of the battery stadium effect. You can't charge better than physics. Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, that's Elon's guiding principle is physics based everything. Legitimately saw 1,000. Yeah. I saw on his screen that he showed right here 1,000 miles an hour charge rate on a Model 3. But like I still try to say is because there's 4 or 6 different versions of the Model 3 now. You've got a million different versions of the Model S and Model X. It's best to compare the charge rate in kilowatts because if I'm getting 200 kilowatts and you're getting 200 kilowatts, I could be getting like at my home charger, I've got 80 amps and I only see 46 miles an hour of charge. But on the loaner Model S Performance they gave me that had the dual chargers, it charged at the full 80 amps and I saw 62 miles an hour on average. And that was pretty cool. Let's see. I call from the EPA documents, charging cables support 525 amps, which is a 525 amp rating, which is good to 420. Yeah, the 420 would be if they derate it to 80, but if they consider it to be short term, they could probably go to the whole 525, no problem. IMHO. Quickly get a small boost at these chargers, and then yeah, but that's the internal cables. You're right. So it doesn't matter what the cables in the station are if they don't change the ones in the car. Yeah, that's what how I would do too. Is I would get quick hits at the station. They say they saw 225. That is phenomenal. And then in Tesla's video, they saw 256 before they cut the feed. So that was pretty cool. The cable in the car doesn't appear to be cooled at all, but the cable in the station is liquid cooled. And Frito, they are going to replace select stations, but most of them will just get the software update, and all new ones will be installed. And it sounds like they're going to strategically just install new ones rather than do very many upgrades from the way they made it sound. Water tube silicon cables. Oh, water tubes in cables. Yeah, Wawa is very smart. That was incredible for them to do that. Showing off 97 kilowatts at 65%. That's insane. Yeah, when I ate meat, I would always get the turkey club from Wawa. It was delicious. I'd get it with all the cheeses, get the turkey, and the bacon. I don't miss bacon, but man, that was a good flavor. 80 amps only on Performance Model S. What Performance Model S do you have? You have the 90 and it's locked you down to 80, or what do you see there? You got locked in the valet lot? Yeah, see, the Lennox valet lot is garbage. I'd only go there if you have to. So what did you do? Did you move the gates? Or did you phone security? Phone the police? Yeah, I hope that some of these ones around us get upgraded as well, especially the ones that are on 95. I would say on 26, but there's 2 on the entire I-26, and they're not really on it. Hi, King Ethan. Yeah, the cables, they're just got a water jacket running around the I'm assuming copper core. Yeah, like you said, the Dexo coolant. My day's been pretty good, Ethan. Thank you. How about you? Yeah, the Wawa Jersey staple. Just drove to Jacksonville. Half the reason was to go to Wawa. Yes. So something I noticed at the Orlando stations and Jacksonville as well, they have these sandwich boards that say 40-minute limit, and some of them were put up and some of them were pushed to the side, like they weren't enforcing it at the moment. And this would certainly help with that. I'm gesturing at my other monitor with the picture of what they were just showing off there. Yeah, the sheets is decent as well. The one that I've had two, because Hickory has one too. The Hickory was very clean and I loved it. And then Greensboro, I like it because it's in the town that my mom lives in. But the one time I had to use their restroom, I was thoroughly disgusted. They had a note from the CEO, please call this number if it's nasty, but I wasn't trying to get anybody fired. The classic Italian, yes. You move the gates. Yeah, their gate maze is like insane. That last spot, it won't hold a Model X the way that they had it arranged. I don't even know that a Model S would fit if there's anybody in the 4th spot. But the Model 3, it's narrow enough that it can get in and out. I'm wondering if they would just if part of it is them trying to trick us into paying for the valet because it looks like you can't get in there. What do I do for a living? I am an IT engineer and a budding YouTuber. Hey, from Australia. Welcome, Kilowatts. From dirty Chicago. Hello from Mars. Yes, that one day I'd like to go on a Mars vacation and come back. Obviously, it would have to be well below the $200,000 to $400,000 that Elon is quoting for that to happen. There's another Falcon 9 launch today? Really? Is it the launch or the landing of the Crew Dragon? No, I don't want to hack you. Houston, Texas, from Cali. Yeah, I'm from California too originally. I lived there for just 3 years, and I think I'll probably end up back there based on just the way things are flowing. We'll see when I finish school. Always a pleasure, Rad Doc. Thank you for joining. This is my first one, and it's been successful. I appreciate all of you for this. Had to get out, move the gate, and get the Model 3 into that spot once. They keep pretending these chargers don't exist. Yeah, because all they want is their tips, and all they see is that we've stolen 5 spots for them, plus however many, was it 4 for the EVgo, and then another 3 or 4 for the level 2 charger. So, I mean, think about how many cars and how many tips they could get. But when we get our advanced summon, forget them. We can park at the very end of the lot, and then we just stand out in front of the mall and just hold the button down, and then your car will come to you. I'm so looking forward to that, and I think I'll demo it. That'd be a good video. Reedy Steakhouse has one on one side, the Superchargers on the other. Oh wow, that's clever. That's I don't want to see the gas right next to the Supercharger for fumes and sparks, and they smell terrible. People would want to park in front of your Superchargers, but I do like that they're like, hey, we're an energy delivery station. We don't care what you have. You want gas, you got it. You want some electricity, we got it. And I think that's the best way to handle it. Let's get a little tag Coke Zero here. Vicky, I didn't see any place to watch it. The closest that I found to any sort of video was where they posted Tesla Raj's video here. It's a 5-minute watch, so it's no big deal. Visit Mars. Just head to your local recall station for a memory implant. I like it. Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you, Lee Moon. Yeah, I like the idea of the community coming together. I mean, the chats about the price changes. I bought the full self-drive because I was afraid that they would continue to increase the cost. Right before I completed my purchase, Elon or Tesla or somebody had said in such a way that it sounded to me like only the people who had already had their car delivered and paid for enhanced autopilot would get the price before they raised it. So it was either $3,000 or $4,000. And when I saw that and I saw the way it was worded, it looked like it excluded me. So I was like, well, let me pay the full price for the self-driving now. So that way when the computer comes out and they start turning on the features, like, oh, it can drive city streets now. Oh, it can do the stop signs. Oh, you can go to sleep now. I have a feeling that as the value went up, they would keep raising the price until they hit their pain threshold. So I was expecting it could go up to, say, $12,000 for full self-drive for new cars. And I have a feeling that this new correction that they have, where they went down to $2,000 for enhanced autopilot to full self-drive, I have a feeling that that's going to be pretty temporary, probably about 3 to 6 months. And if you don't have any autopilot at all today, right now it is $5,000 to go from no autopilot to full self-drive. If you've got the money, do it, because they're going to fix that glitch sometime real soon. I would say probably by next Friday. 30 yards separated with a restaurant in the middle. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, if a Spark were to get across that far, that's pretty bad design. Yeah, it's a perfect combo. I mean, you got food. They're open 24/7, so you can go to the restroom. And there's traffic, so you don't have to feel unsafe at night. It's like say you've been driving all night and you wanted to stop, you can charge. You just kick back and you take a quick nap, 30 minutes or so. Especially with this new supercharger speed. Christoph, yes, there was an event, but all that they released was Tesla short clip. Excuse me, and then I pasted Tesla Raj's video as well. And then they had, where did that video go? They had the Tesla right there. Yes, that one right there that you're posting. And who's looking at the standard Model 3 or the Plus? If I had to, like, say my wife were to finally get her driver's license, I would get her probably the standard Plus, because we've got the Model X when we want to go on road trips, and the premium seats are so much easier to clean than the cloth. But even the Tesla cloth isn't bad. It's got on the bolsters, it's got the synthetic material, and then the cloth is really just on the part that you sit on. So I guess that would be a really good combo if you happen to wear clothing where you would get burned by the seats a lot. But with the cabin overheat protection, I think that would be less of a concern, because the car caps itself at 106 if you keep the battery above 20%. And if you keep it below that, you can always just turn on the air on your way in, precondition it. Let's see here. Self-driving cars are dangerous. Well, at the moment, there are no self-driving cars that are not science experiments. So I have a feeling that that they don't want to be in the news for running people over with an empty car. So they're going to test it very thoroughly, and they're going to make sure that they don't have an incident like Uber had, where they killed a lady. The Model Y invites actually have started to go out, and it doesn't look like they had too many of them, so it might be one of the smaller parties. Yep, that one's good. Yeah, humans are incredibly dangerous drivers. In my town, there are on just my commute, which is 10 minutes if there's no traffic, 30 to 45 minutes if there's any traffic. I can run across 2 to 3 wrecks a day, no matter what route I take. Yesterday, every route to work from home, and I've got about like 12 that I can pick. Every route had a major accident on it. It took me an hour and a half to get to work. And then Jonathan agrees about the full self-drive. Bought it for the same reason. Can't wait for Advanced Summon. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to Advanced Summon. And it is a little daunting, but they say, yeah, like watching your kid ride the bike for the first time. They say that you got to keep your eye on it. So I'm feeling at some point they'll say, hey, it's okay, and it'll just meet you based on your schedule. Self-driving people are even more dangerous. Yes, I agree. Operator error, exactly. Hi, Battle Mage. Can't wait to see the Model Y. Yes, I think that depending on how the timing goes, I'll be on stream with the Tesla Live show, and we'll be watching it there. If they don't do it, then I'll do one here, and then we'll do another one with them the next week. And by then, like I said, I'm going to do a couple more tests of that software to get it working correctly. I did see that the audio was working, and then I figured out how to work the camera, but then it wouldn't let me back in the stream, and that's why we launched a second stream. Yeah, I love having a hatchback, and if the Model Y happens to be more square, I think that would be perfect because the CUV curved back on the Model X really limits the amount of cargo you can carry inside the vehicle, but the 5 and 7 seat folding does make up for it a lot because now you've got just a flat load floor. And my wife and I love to Tesla camp in it. She makes the thickest of blankets go down there, and then a couple pillows. And after 4 hours, you will have to recycle the air or the heat. But I wonder if they might fix that with. Well, I don't want to turn on dog mode when I'm trying to sleep because it's a big bright white screen with a dancing dog on the screen. I'd much rather be incognito. If I'm at, say, like a Walmart or a campground. A campground would be the best because then you're plugged in. But plugging in doesn't get around the 4-hour climate limit that they have installed on that firmware that I'm running, because I found that the firmware has started itself on accident a couple times, both at work and at home while I'm plugged in. I don't plug in at work. And I get a text from the car saying, yeah, I've shut down the climate because you've been running me for 4 hours. It's like, I didn't select keep running. I didn't open an app and turn on the air. I'll have to catch it doing it, and then I'll have to email support a bug report on that one. I guess I could go out to the car and do the bug report on the steering wheel. I need to make a video on that for you guys as well. Where's my last read? What's next after the V3? What's next after V3 is the Model Y. And then sometime this summer-ish, we'll see the pickup truck. I think that will be super fun, and that would probably be the next one that we get after the Model X. Trucks are pretty useful. We can tow. I think that the Model X was the best combo for us because with the Model S, we couldn't tow, and it was nice to have the extra 2 seats. But it would also be nice if the extra 2 seats could have a little more legroom and a lot more headroom. It's nice to see you lights. Become one with the electricity. V4, yes. In Texas, drivers hate signaling and accidents are constant. 20 tow trucks show up for one damn crash. Yes, I've noticed that the Navigate on Autopilot version that I'm running, I'm 2 versions back from, well, more than that from current, but I'm on the second to last version for 2018. And I noticed that if somebody weaves into my lane or if it looks like they have 0 lane discipline, the car actually pulls back the power and it's a little more cautious around them. And if they do, surprise, jump out of your lane, it reacts much more nicely than my Autopilot 1 did on the Model S. The Model S would slam on the brakes and be freaked out, and the Model X actually appears to be anticipating them at almost the same level as me, because I've noticed a couple times now where a big truck does something. I don't know if it's getting blown by the wind or if the driver's on his cell phone. I'll tense up and just like reach for like grabbing the wheel harder, and it's already like I can feel it doing stuff underneath on its own and slowing down. So I am confident that they'll be able to dial this in by the end of the year. Like Elon said, I don't know that it will be able to handle too many edge cases before then. But the beauty of the way that the system is set up is it learns from me, it learns from you, and then whenever they all sync back up with the mothership, any important lessons get synced back down to all of us. The V4 specs, I couldn't even begin to speculate, but actually, I can. The V4 is probably the mega chargers for the semi truck. And so, if these superchargers, the new ones, are megawatt as they are now, I have a feeling that the mega charger might actually be 2 of the cabinets together or 4 of the cabinets together. So you're looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 megawatts, and that's what they have been doing right now at the with the prototypes. They've been plugging them in to anywhere from 2 to 8 superchargers, depending on where they're going, through a special junction box, and then that plugs in 1 mega charger cable. And they've always told people, don't take pictures of it, but they don't tell anybody not to describe it. Yeah, it'd definitely be past 300 kilowatt. But no, yeah, not on the cars that are out today. Probably on the Roadster and the pickup truck. 6-seater gives you a cool minivan, though. Yeah, I like the captain's chairs, but it's just it wasn't very practical for us. Like, you can't do as easy a job car camping. I'm almost 6 feet tall. My wife's 5'0", but it's still like it made it so we needed to use the trailer for everything, and we don't own a trailer, just the trailering package. Yeah, I think the next version of the Tesla cars will see it. Tesla is going to have a domino effect in the auto industry. Toyota, Nissan, Honda, and the rest are on notice, especially after the $35,000 model. That's how I feel as well. And if they can survive this transition smoothly and show the other guys that, hey, you don't need your dealer networks, or I mean, it probably, the dealer networks aren't going anywhere anytime soon, but just show them that there's a different way. Because like with my Chevy, I was able to customize down to the interior color and what electronic features I wanted on it. I could have even taken off OnStar if I wanted like a police package or something. But I had to go down. I had to sit with the manager. If I could have just gone on my phone and said, I want package A, delete the OnStar, add the chrome wheels, and had it shipped to them, and then have them drop it off at my house. I mean, you don't have to cut the dealership out. I don't want to see them add it to Tesla, but the dealerships can evolve if they want to. Like the fixed pricing and having all your paperwork ready. At my store, we were doing that. I've worked at a Honda store for a little while and a Toyota store, a Chevy store over time. I've been in and out of dealerships. I'm a computer guy, but I love cars, and going to the dealerships was an easy way to kind of combine cars and computers. But all that to say that that we had the convenience down. I mean, it wasn't quite buying online, but literally I had your order ready to go. Your car was clean, ready to go. And if it wasn't as described, then we just didn't do the deal. But if it was, you just signed on the papers that were already pre-printed, already ready to go. and I gave you the keys, showed you how to work the car, and then you were off. 30 minutes or less. The only reason it would be long, like 30 minutes, would be on a new car. Like the Honda Odyssey, it had a lot of features. Current battery tech is probably maxed out. Yeah, I think that's why they were trying to get Maxwell involved. Because if you get the ultra capacitors and you get the dry cells and the new anodes, I think that would help. Because they were talking about going to, what was it, 500 kilowatt hours a kilogram, which is really good stuff. Elon said any further is not efficient and potential to do harm to the battery. Yeah, because that's exactly what he said. He said there's no point in charging fast if it's going to fry your pack. Yeah, automated feature. I'm loving the idea of the pickup truck. There isn't yet a real camping mode. There's the keep climate on, and there's the turning on the climate control from the app. Both of those will keep the climate on for up to 4 hours or more. But Elon has described real camping mode as coming on a future update this year. And the navigate on autopilot option should be allow navigation in autopilot. Yes, I like that. I need to call the truck charger Megatrons. If they can get the license for that, I think that would be really fun. Neo is not building their factory. I was a little disappointed by that, and my Neo stock dropped like a freaking rock. But what I think is going to happen with that is it says they're going to continue to work out of their existing factory. I wonder if they're not doing a version of Elon's Alien Dreadnought where they are going to more densely pack the factory and they're going to work in 3D space rather than just laying it all out flat. Yeah, I think it'd be awesome. To become a Tesla semi truck driver, the way I see it is they cost less than a Roadster. So I mean, if you can get a loan for it, do that. The whole industry is hurting for drivers, and I think it would be fun to just be an independent owner operator. You set your own hours. It would be pretty fun. I also think it'd be cool to use that as the basis for a RV or camper. Neo's garbage. I think there's room for more competition because the real competition, the real target are the fossil vehicles, and we've got plenty of room for newcomers. I do hope that any Chinese vehicles that come through are really and truly fully certified for crash safety. When I went to the Detroit Auto Show a couple of years ago, I saw what looked like a mishmash between a Ford Edge and a Honda CR-V, and also a Ford Edge, Honda CR-V. It was a Corolla or something. It was like the E6, like somebody they called it the E6. And when they closed the doors, they just sounded so thin. It didn't feel like it would take any sort of a hit. And so as long as they can meet our crash standards, I'm fine with it. Don't jump. I was impressed by the Neo demo they did on Top Gear with their hypercar. I don't know how reliable or smart it would be. There was no way to charge it. You had to take the battery out and then charge it off of the car, which is weird. Company in the past that put much value on suppliers like Neo. Yeah, I wanted to buy an Aptera for a while, and I was super disappointed they couldn't make it. I mean, a 3-wheeled airplane without wings that was an EV, that would have been phenomenal. They made the suppliers go bankrupt, which made them go bankrupt. I think that was A123 with the batteries that they used on the Chevy Spark for a while, as well as the Fisker Karma when they all sank and then caught fire. Why is it jumping on me? Yeah, Fisker. Only concern is no test drive. I think that the test drive thing, they're going to work it out. Either he'll say something and they'll have a program where we can do test rides, like just a driver of a car will come up and come get you and you go for a spin. Or they're not getting rid of the service departments, so I have a feeling that they may have some test drive vehicles on hand. Or what's very likely is that they'll say, "Hey, here's the car. It's all ready to go," and then you take it home for 2 to 3 days, and then before you are to turn it back in, you get in the car, and there's just a survey on the screen asking how you enjoyed your test drive. And then after you say yes, they're like, "Do you want to buy it? Enter your credit card right here. It's yours. Don't bring it back." Similar to the way Elon was talking about doing a drive-in. Well, he just called it drive-in, and that meant food and a movie. So this, excuse me, the screen would show a menu when you pulled up to these particular stations, and you could pick what you want. And then there'd be these super abbreviated movies. I guess they're going to be even shorter now, that were like super cuts of Hollywood movies. Model 3, rest in peace to Honda Accord, Camry. Yeah, I agree. There's anyone who doesn't buy those today is either in need of something that's even cheaper. We're talking like $14,000-$15,000 out the door, or they are just not exposed to what we have available to us. And I think it's kind of a failure on us if we don't try to reach them, because that's maintenance and fuel, and then all the pollution that's gonna be with the life of that vehicle. Like, I'm in South Carolina, they don't do any safety or emissions checks. They can pull you over if you're blowing black smoke or if your bumper's hanging off. I've never seen them do it. I've been here since 2007 now. Yeah, that's why I value Tesla as well. Automated future, China factories. Yeah. Evolving energy company. Yeah, there's still room. A rising tide's going to float all boats. And then at that point, once there's 50% or more of EV sales, then they'll probably start attacking each other and fighting for what's left. Because don't forget, all the traditional automakers are still trying not to cannibalize their fossil sales. Promise anyone interested in the Model 3, just go to Tesla or EV get together. Yeah, cars and coffee, whatever it takes. So I don't believe Porsche with their rapid charging. Yeah, that's what Elon said too. He said that, you're gonna fry your battery. Why would you do that? But the typical Porsche driver typical new Porsche driver that's not leasing might be able to afford an extra battery in the life of the vehicle if they keep it that long. The semis are already on the road. The first year of production basically is allocated to Tesla for their Tesla delivery company, as well as the hauling stuff to and from Gigafactory 1 and Fremont, and probably Gigafactory 2 as well. I don't think that the faster charging is going to damage the batteries, because that's one of the things that Elon was afraid of doing. Hi, Art of Reed. Thank you. Ludicrous mode over and over again. Yes, and no, that's me. Every time the light turns green, we're gone. And so people who've seen me before, if they see me coming up to a light, they actually, like, if there's 2 spots available, they'll pull in behind whoever I was trying not to get behind. And then once I hit the stop bar, they'll come in behind me, and then I'm gone, and then they are able to go at whatever speed they want to go at. Plus, if you've never seen one before, and then you see what looks like a mommy van just disappear at the stoplight, what was that? And then you try to catch up and read the plate on the back of the car. What was that? Future hybrids will be supercap or lithium-ion mixes. Yeah, I don't see too many hybrids surviving for too long, except from folks that can't get a charging network agreement. So I see some manufacturer within the next 2 years teaming up with the Supercharger network, and then the rest of them doing like Ionity or something. But I think that the hybrid is going to be dead first, because it's got all the complications of a fossil and all the complications of an EV. All right, so no reason to doubt Porsche. Yeah, I mean, they're an engineering company, so I think that they can do some stuff, but I don't know how much beyond the warranty they're going to go. Because currently, I mean, the Germans are known for having great engineering and terrible electronics. Tesla's king. They're working on it. EV is pretty hot. Yeah, the Audi GT, that might be fun. Hey Chris, just wondering if I have solar panels on my house. Yes, I have 27 solar panels on my house, and hopefully I'll be getting some power walls this year. We'll see. 100 plus and nowhere near the performance of a 2020 Model S performance dual motor. Yeah, I agree. The Taycan at 20,000 units a year is a small blip. Yeah. The Grand Tour. It's a funny show. I know that they're not the best people to be associated with, but it makes me laugh. And to see them come around on electric finally after what they did during the Roadster days, it shows that even if those old dinosaurs can come around, then anybody can. Neo's going to fail, probably. I mean, look at how many successful car companies there have been. The only two American car companies to not have gone bankrupt are Ford and Tesla, and technically Tesla is older than new GM based on when they went bankrupt. Looking forward to see ice cars at the museum. Yeah, that's where they belong. Or I've seen these shops that do conversions, so you can have a classic car, but it's running clean. It's running fast. It's an EV. Said Model Y unveiling event may be small. So would you guess that those want an invite to future unveiling event, the referral program won't get an invite? I think that they are done sending invites. Several prominent YouTubers I've seen and people I converse with on Twitter, some of them got one, and some of them is radio silence. So I think that they're done sending their invites because the ones that got them via email. Because their battery charging is based on switching it out. Yeah. Is that Neo you're talking about, future, or Porsche? I jumped. Sorry, the chat keeps jumping on me. Keeping it simple like Tesla. Yeah, I like that. I do hope that the Tesla battery swap station sees a comeback, but now that we've got V3 superchargers, I don't see that being a real big issue. But I think maybe if they can get some station throughout the country, it'll help mobile service whenever you do need a battery swap. They can just pre-schedule it, have it already in the caddy. You drive up and it's done. But of course, that will only work on Model S and X because Model 3 is not architected for battery swap. It can be done, but it's not something that can be done in the 90 seconds that the Model S and X are set up for. Yeah, it's in a car wash. Won't be bogged down like a car wash. I want to charge at home. I don't Wawa supercharging station. Exactly. The median new car purchase price is still 22,000. Colum, I've been seeing 37,000 lately. I don't know if that's new data that just came out or if it's like a mixture, and if yours is more down to earth Americans. Want cheap, go with Hyundai. Well, Hyundai is making some phenomenal EVs. They have some of the fastest charging that's currently deployed up until V3 just came out, and it's a Hyundai, so the interior is decent, and I think Hyundai's onto something. They may leapfrog some of the other older, bigger car makers with this next generation. If you need to pay for the car before you can test drive it, yeah, that is the worst part about that. I hope that they go to, like I said, where it's just a test drive, and then at the end of it, they're like, "Do you want to buy it, or do you want us to come get it, or do you want to meet us somewhere to return it and get your car back?" Yeah. I think that might just be because of how quickly it didn't appear that they were ready to do this particular swap, and I have a feeling they're going to succeed with it. It's just it looks like they could have planned it better. Yeah, getting finance complete. Tesla seems to prefer to stay out of the financing. Like when I did mine, they sent me over to a partner. Had I been in a different state, they would have done it themselves. Speaking of ice, would Elon or Tesla let little old me build superchargers for Tesla's like a franchise? I think that if you could, I think there's a case for co-hosting like that. Like you say, hey, I'll pay for it all. Just put one at every one of my malls, or whatever your arrangement with them is. I think that um, that they're open to that because it only helps both customers at that point. Who's waiting for the Y? I think that the Model Y is probably going to sell better than the Model 3 worldwide because it's a compact SUV, and everybody's moving crossovers these days. And there's no pollution hit. Well, there is, but it's not like a fossil. I mean, you're going to use more rubber, you're going to use more electricity, but if you're getting it good, clean electricity, like from solar or hydro, then it's really not that big a deal. We're talking fractions at this point. Might buy it at some point. It's jumping again. Like the standard. Has hatchback, yes. You have a hybrid? Yeah. I had several hybrids. I had a Prius. I bought that used. It was a 2004. It was fully loaded. It had the fog lights and the navigation system, everything. And then I traded it and I got a 2008 Civic Hybrid, ACH2. And then I got rid of that and I leased the third gen Civic Hybrid. I very quickly got rid of that and got a Chevy Volt because at that point I had switched from working at Honda to working at Chevy, and it was a 40-mile commute. I was able to do it on one charge each way with the Volt. I also the store I was at also sold Nissans. I tried the Leaf in the middle of winter, and I came back with 5 miles of range, and I just didn't feel comfortable with that. And it turned out that the one I was going to buy would have had the non-lizard battery, and it would have actually never made it all the way through to keeping me getting to and from work. So dodged a bullet with that one. And then after that first Volt, it was a semi-lemon, so they helped me get out of it. And that was the time where Elon was saying, he got up on stage and said, the Model S40 is canceled, nobody's buying it. And that same week, I had actually had the last of the down payment coming in on my paycheck to get the Model S40. And since it was canceled and I didn't know you could call up a sales rep and maybe sneak it in there, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger and let them switch me out of the first Volt into the second, which was a huge mistake because after I got that, they permanently dropped the price again on the Volt, and I lost a lot of money on that deal. Let's see. Yeah, hybrids and plugins are a gateway drug. You got the Leaf now. I enjoyed the few times I did drive the Leaf. It's just I couldn't do it as an only vehicle. Yellow Corvette pulled next to me at a light. I started revving. His license plate said something about cool, but he was too small in my mirror to read. That's me all the time. Okay. What Tesla were you driving? Yeah, what Tesla were you driving? Put you on timeout there, Russian guy. The Neo battery replacement is garbage. Yeah, you have to have a whole team of trained engineers to do the battery replacement, and they bring the car on a flatbed, and it's fun for the track, but hopefully they build on that, and hopefully the reason it doesn't charge on board is because they wanted to save the 50 to 100 pounds of charger to get a better lap time. Did I see this? High usage supercharger station, max battery charge of 80%. Yeah, I've had that happen to me where my car has cut me off. Said, "You're done. Go away." Learned about this strategy the other day. Trying to manage congestion. Yeah, it looks like they're trying to manage the congestion. The performance Model 3 performance. I timed him out. I guess I can kick him too, because let's see if he comes back at the timeout, if he's still got the bad behavior. It's a, it's a nice Corvette 7. You just domed him. 2 yellow Corvettes, a C5 and a C6. Oh, that's nice. I imagine that you've got them in a nice show condition. Maybe you got a picture of them. Seen James May from the Grand Tour do the quick review of the Model S P100D on Twitter. Yeah, that was amazing. It's like his hair goes back, and he sees, you can see what he's mouthing. It's just nothing pretty, but it's not too bad of a curse word. And at that point, he's no longer going to be driving that i3 Rex around anymore. He's going to be trading that thing in for his Model S P100D. I don't see him buying a Model X because he doesn't believe in pickup trucks, and if he doesn't believe in pickup trucks, probably the same reason he won't drive a regular SUV. So I see him getting a P100D Model S. Or sorry, they call it now the Model S Performance with ludicrous mode. C5 is gorgeous, yes. Oh, what did you tell him, Future? I don't have a translator going on this thing. Average versus median price. Yeah. So I wonder if that's what it was. The average price is 22 and the median is 35, or the other way around. Reminiscent of a magician P1. Paris Hilton. It's jumping again. The Tesla leasing program, I think that we will probably, I wonder if that might be the one more thing, or if it's just too much for 1 month. But I have a feeling that soon we'll see Tesla start leasing the Model 3. I think what they're holding back for, it'll probably be next quarter. What they're holding back for is the way that on the GAAP, the generally accepted accounting principles, it counts the lease as they get all the money right away from the bank, but on their books, it looks like they're still getting payments on the cars. And then I'm guessing that the rest of the car is still showing on the books until it's fully realized. And right now they need every dime they can get, and they also need the books to look right for profit. McLaren P1. Yeah, and that's I think he did that on purpose, because when he crashed his P1 with no insurance, or was it P1? It was just regular McLaren. He crashed it with no insurance, and he learned a valuable lesson. It's gonna steal some sales. Yeah, it's gonna steal a hell of a lot of sales. The performance can't be the same. I get rid of your Volt and get them all 3. Yeah, it took me quite a while to get my Volt sold to a family that understood it and wanted it, and I lost a lot of money on that too. I had to pay to get rid of it, basically. Last one, Tesla in the near future offer conversion kits for classic ICE vehicles. I don't see Tesla doing that, but maybe they will work with a shop that will do that. Has anyone bought any gear from Tesla, like shirts or hats? Yes. I bought a windbreaker and a hat. And then, of course, the mats for the car and all that sort of stuff. Some items will get a tracking number. Others just show up at your door in 1 to 2 weeks from when you ordered them. Maybe 4, depending on if it was back ordered or not. I don't really enjoy their purchase experience, but they're solid products. And by purchase, I mean from their accessory store. Let's see. How much did you gain on the C7? Good idea. Yeah, electric cars are the gateway to solar panels. Exactly. When I bought this house, it had 6 panels on it when we were looking at it, and 8 panels on it when we were looking at it. And then by the time we closed, it had 16 panels on it. And then I added the rest. SpaceX license plate frame. That's pretty cool. Thanks, Future. All right. Being able to chat about Tesla. Yeah, I think we should do this again in the future. It's been quite fun. I was nervous and a little hesitant, and this worked out. P100D, yeah. Could talk about the Tesla all day. Yeah, me too. A lot of the people do not mention this with PG&E filing for bankruptcy affects the Tesla battery utility storage projects. That is a very good question. I wonder if they are, how their contract was written, if they are obligated to that, or if the new owners are going to continue it, or maybe they already paid it in full. Here in South Carolina, we had a situation where we got stiffed for an $8 billion power plant, and our bills are still reflecting it. And they dug a big hole in the ground. The company went out of business. They filled the hole back up. So we paid $8 billion to move some dirt back and forth. PGE and PG&E are two different companies. Okay, so yeah, maybe it doesn't affect them. How much did I sell the Volt for? How many miles in a year? It was a 2013. I want to say it wasn't very much. It was probably about 10 or 15. No, I don't think it was 15. I had 89,000 miles on it, so it was still in the warranty for the electronics, the drivetrain electronics, and we did actually have to use it for the coolant. It dropped the coolant code, and they took care of it at no charge for me. The dealership here, I like them. They're almost as good to me as the small town where I bought mine, where I worked at. But there are 3 dealerships here. One didn't want anything to do with me or the Volt. They told me so. Another wanted me to leave it, to set an appointment, to come back, to leave it again, to fix it. And I'm like, I'm not going to rent a car from you. Tell me when you can look at it, and we'll look at it, and then I'll come back when you have the parts in stock. And they just didn't understand. So I'm glad to be done with the dealer networks for the foreseeable future. He hit traffic a ways up, but I'm sure he would have overtaken me. Yeah, after a while, you do run out of steam on all the current setups. Am I in CA? No, I am in South Carolina at the moment. And for my state rebate for South Carolina on both Volts, it came pretty quick. It came with my regular tax refund, and then turns out that the way they worded it, even though it was the worksheet made you look at the federal. So if you looked at the federal, it's like, oh, I got 7,500, so I can claim all of the 2,000. But it was worded in such a way that only plug-in hybrids qualified. So if you had a Nissan Leaf, or if you had a Tesla, years later, you find in a little teeny tiny audit, you owe them a lot of money. PJE is building the plant of battery, solar, and wind, and it's not the one going out of business. Okay, so that's good. That's good for the company, good for the environment, good for us. Once those engines get rolling, it's game over till the Roadster kicks in. I cannot wait for the Roadster. Hopefully, I can find a way to borrow one for a day. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. You have a good night. Tesla needs to increase inventory on their lifestyle brand. Yes. Okay, I think you're quicker till about 100. Yeah. Standard C7. Dodging a few potholes. Yeah, man, I wish more of these places would take care of their potholes. Pacific Gas and Electric Company versus, what's the other one? ZR1 would be gone, and he would be reading my front license plates. Tesla for 2 battery, contracted Tesla for 2 battery projects. Yes, they did, and that's pretty good. Pre-fire, the pre-fire would that would be the other company though, right? Yeah, I hate dealing with the regular dealerships. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. And so we're now looking at, there we go. We're now looking at currently it's 0:39, and I've got to get to work in the morning. So I wanted to thank you guys for spending the evening with me talking Tesla, and I'll catch you on the next one. All right, guys? All right, have a good night.